Now I've put red around on all the scallops around the orange, and I remembered something very important when I was doing that, is that I had a couple of rules. Black is last, and the other one is you have to have a marker, a hand pad. I call it a hand pad. Because what happens when you start working, or when a child, it doesn't make any difference. It just happened to me. I've been doing this a million years. And when you start working across that magic marker, the magic marker's wet. Your hand becomes a stamp, and it picks up that wet magic marker and it stamps it everywhere you go. Well, you can't do that and have pretty colors. So I tell kids to tear off a piece of scrap paper and put it underneath their, I actually called it a wrist pad. I called it a wrist pad. Put it underneath their wrist and to drag that with them as they color. So I'm going to take my wrist pad and color this last dot here. Pretty soon, though, let me tell you, this is not something you do once and forget it. This will become so dirty, you have to change that out. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a stripe here. I'm going to make stripes out of this inside here. A general rule, although I love a lot of color, is to not go with every color in the rainbow on every project. That becomes overwhelming, even for someone who is a color queen like me. I love color, and I almost can't. In fact, I often use every color I have. When you do color, when you do stripes, stop and think about it, because you will real quickly skip a stripe, and then you're in trouble. So now I have that color. And the next color I'm going to work with is purple. I'm going to skip green. Let me see, what else can I do? Okay, if I do purple, 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 and I'm going to go to purple. Okay, so because purple is red plus blue, basically. And if I ever do a painting lesson, I'll tell you it's not always it's a certain blue and a certain red to make purple. But basically it is a red and a blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, but I want to tell you this, orange is yellow and red, and orange, yellow, and purple make brown. So you have to be very careful when you come in next to that orange. And quite honestly, this magic marker red has a little bit of yellow in it. So even though they're supposed to work beautifully together, you have to be careful or you'll get a dark brown. So with Crayola brand magic markers, I don't really recommend you try to do a lot of mixing. Unfortunately, it's going to mix on you anyway, unless you're careful. It's a color next to a color, and it can be beautiful. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully go around each one of those scallops, and in order to fill in an area like that, I first outline it with the color I'm using. And then, I hope you're still there. Hope I get excited and I drag myself out of the view. So I colored around the scallop. In fact, kids love to do this. They love to make a scallop and then, like a rainbow, just keep adding more and more colors. And I tell them it's fine as long as you start with yellow and get progressively darker. I don't care what a kid draws. I don't care what color it is. I just want them to put the color on in color order so that they don't make nasty. And I want them to use a wrist pad when working with magic. It's probably good with paint. I don't remember about working with paint. It's been a while for me since I taught art. But I did do art with my little kids, but I'm not so rule-oriented with a little child. Now, the same thing's true here. Outline that circle, and it's real hard to make a perfect circle. That's why these pre-cut these die-cut ornaments are so wonderful. If I give you a pattern and tell you to cut it out, good luck getting it cut out perfectly. All right, I'm going to finish coloring that, and then I'll be back.